Hello, hello, and welcome back to Purposeful Woman podcast. In today's episode, we have Tasha Church. She's an
Aloha.
empowerment. Hi, aloha. She's an empowerment coach on the island of Maui. That's right, there's aloha in the Hawaiian Islands. Bring 18 years of experience to the table. She's teaching empowerment self defense and dedicating her life to supporting women and girls in self defense. Hi, and welcome, Tasha.
Aloha. I'm so happy to be here. Thank you for having me on.
I love your spirit. Just your energy is so great. I would love to hear how did you started to do this amazing job, self defense. It's such like uncommon.
Well, a lot of people ask that question, and usually for people who are practitioners, there's a pretty long answer. For me, I started out, I had a stalker when I was 16 years old. And that person met me when they were 15, when I was 15 and they were 32. They were a family friend. And so I just knew for me, once I realized that that was going on, I needed to protect myself. I needed to figure out a way. And so I actually stood up to that person verbally, and I was very, to the point, don't touch me, stay away from me, and laid down some very good ground rules. So there was the verbal defense, which, takes time for a lot of people, but my parents both did martial arts. And so I had that going for me, but I had no training. And so I just knew that this person was 6'2", over 230 pounds, and ex special forces. And so if that person had taken a swing at me, I would have been a goner. And I just realized I really needed to go in and figure out something that I could do to take care of myself. So I went to a martial arts school and I studied there for 8 years, and I studied 7 styles of Japanese martial arts. And so there was, my main style was Aikido, and I cross-trained in ninjutsu and Shotokan and jujitsu. And then the other styles were Iaido, Bojutsu, Kabuto. So all of these different Japanese martial arts styles. And what I realized in that time that I was there, because I actually had other experiences that happened to me, was that I wasn't getting everything that I needed. I was going to a martial arts school, I was learning kicks and punches and all of these different things, but when I would get into a situation or a confrontation, I would freeze. And I think that this happens to so many different people in general, but women especially, where it's just this shock of, gosh, how could somebody say that to me? How could somebody do that to me? How could I have let something like this happen? And I really wanted to find a way to not only protect myself, but learn to be able to protect other people, teach other people, give them tools and strategies so that they could defend themselves. And so I started going through all of the different moves that I knew. I had this Laotian friend. He was my martial arts partner, and he let me dress up in a dress and 3-inch heels, and we went through all of the different self-defense moves that I knew, which between us together it was about 800 moves. And so I looked at all of the different moves and I condensed it into what actually works with me wearing 3-inch heels and a dress. And so I started using that and teaching that and realizing that for me, I love salsa dancing. I love going out. I think that it's wonderful for women to be able to feel comfortable and safe wherever they go. So just knowing that they have the skills and the tool sets in order to be able to protect themselves. And so for me, I went through this whole process where I learned all of these skills and tools. And then there was a middle school near where I live, and the principal contacted me and he said, we need your help. We really need your help. There's these girls that are dealing with bullying and also teen pregnancy at the middle
Oh,
school level was too high. So that was just this heartbreaking thing for me. And so I created a curriculum and a girls program. And so that was the start of me starting my own entrepreneurial business. And it was very exciting, really wonderful. We reached over 2,000 girls in a 3-year period, going from one school to 4 schools. Yeah, and so it was really, really exciting. And then they asked me to go district wide, and I actually had an amazing person ask me to move to Maui with him. So I chose to drop everything and move here. And
That
then I
is
started,
beautiful.
yeah.
What a beautiful story. Oh my gosh. And like living on a paradise right now, helped over thousands of girls. All right. I would love to ask you, what would you do, with everything that you know right now about self-defense? What would you do differently if we just go back a few years ago or like many years ago for you? What would you invite you? Follow me, your host, Viktoriia, on Instagram. Give me some love by clicking follow button so you can get more tips on how to have a purposeful and profitable life. Link in the description below. And now we go back to our interview.
Yes. Gosh, thank you. Great question. I know that for myself, I felt like I had to do it all on my own. And I think that so many female entrepreneurs feel that way. Gosh, I got to do this right. I got to do this on my own. I got to figure this all out. And I have certain skill sets that I'm really, really good at. So I just needed to realize that asking for help was okay. Being able to open up to people and share the different issues that were going on, from bookkeeping to doing taxes to what is it like to run a business with a business partner. I went from having a business partner to realizing, gosh, we have 2 very different missions, and I should have really started my own business and partnered with people out in the community and organizations, because I love that and it gives me agency. And so I think that so many entrepreneurs, they make this mistake of really wanting to just do it all and do it big, when sometimes it's important to lay that foundation and
All
then
right.
really go out. Yeah.
Beautiful. So what will be the number one advice? It's kind of went from your mistake to advice, I think, in the same
Oh,
answer.
sorry.
But what will be your like number one advice to those who don't know how to self-defend them, right? And what would you recommend them to do first? What's the
Well,
first step?
I mean, as far as empowerment self-defense goes, I believe that everybody should do it. It doesn't matter what gender you are. Look into local self-defense schools in your area. For me, I studied empowerment self-defense through ESD Global. So it's a global organization, and it's a 40-year evidence-based, research-based curriculum, and it's designed by women for women and other vulnerable communities. So it's important for people to really do their research when it comes to what they're actually going to learn or what they're trying to get. When it comes to entrepreneurship, I would say don't feel like you have to do it alone. Ask lots of questions to people who you see who are just rocking it and doing it better.
Awesome. All right. The last question that I ask everybody on this podcast is I want you to fill in the blank. If you really knew me, you will know that I am blank.
Okay. I am tenacious.
Hi, yes, I love it. Love it, love it. Well, share please with us how we can find you, how we can get in contact with you and our audience.
Absolutely. So for me, I'm on every social media platform under Ellie, ELLE, live, LIVE, action, ACTION. And that also is the link to my website, elleliveaction.com.
Love it. Thank you. It was so awesome to have you today with us. And thank you for watching this on YouTube or listening to it on podcast platform. And we will link all description or everything in the links and down there in description.
Yes,
You got
that
it, you
thing.
guys. That thing over there, you will find a link to our webpage. Always visited us and give some love to our podcast as well. Thank you.
Viktoriia,
Thank you,
thank you so
Tasha.
much. Thank you.
Bye-bye. Bye, guys.
Bye. Aloha.
And if you love this episode and you would love to see more of that, click the subscribe button to Purposeful Woman Podcast And don't forget to text us to stay in tune with the purposeful community for awesome tricks and tricks by texting to number +1 401 399 4105. And we will link descriptions in the episode to all of that we mentioned today. Bye. Turn your one day to day one with a purposeful day.